to try and figure out why what their program was doing was different than what they wanted. Okay? So again, focusing on them on the individual steps in the program. Here I have some code to make. I'm trying to give you a sprinkling of the things your students are going to want to do, and things that maybe other teachers at your school might want to do. So this creates a boring play, but you'll see most of the pieces we've looked at so far have been this general puzzle piece shape with the notch at the top and the notch on the bottom. We also have these ones that I call hats, which can start programs. Instead of double clicking on them, you can put one of these hats on it. So I say when the green flag is clicked. So in Scratch, there's a little green flag that's typically used to start kind of your actions. So when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to say hello for 2 seconds. And so you'll see I have 2 script areas. I have my yellow guy and I have the fish. Okay? After the yellow guy says hello fish, he's going to broadcast fish turn 1. That's like shouting out, fish turn 1! Okay, can you picture it? And so then anybody with a when I receive fish turn 1 hat says, oh, I'm ready to go. Okay? So this guy shouts out, fish turn 1! This guy says, oh, I heard that. So he's going to say, hi yellow, how are you? Again, sorry, it's a boring play. He's going to broadcast yellow turn 2. There might even be 2 yellow turn 2 hats. But what he's going to do is he's sending a message to this other guy to say, hey, it's your turn to start. So you can see already how one character says something, tells the other character to say something. It says it and then tells the other character to say something. So here, our last step, it says fish turn 2, and any of the when I receive fish turn 2 hats will play. Just like when I click the green flag, anything connected to a when green flag clicked flag hat, will start. Does that make sense? So this is the basic building block for making, little presentations, plays. So this is something where if you have English teachers that are interested in bringing in more technology, this is another option they have. If students are creating stories or scripts, they can act it out in Scratch. So use Scratch to make presentations, and then you can, just as a way to get more computer science infused throughout the curriculum, I've heard of kids asking teachers if they can use this technique for other presentations and other classes. Okay? Here are some gotchas. How many times do you think you hear the sound meow play when you double click on this?
Meow, meow, meow.
I think the right answer is 3. That's right. I see this play sound meow, play sound meow, play sound meow. Things happen sequentially. Seems like I should hear it 3 times. Here's the catch. Scratch also has this other block that says play this sound clip until done. Okay? So this starts to highlight some of the differences of the weird thing that might be happening in that top one. So here in the bottom one, I say, I'm telling my sprite, everything's an instruction for my sprite. I say, play sound meow until done. And then before I go to the next line, I wait for it to finish saying meow. And this is important too. Some of the meow is really short, but some of them are some of the sound clips that Scratch has are really long, songy kind of things. So here, before I give a new command, I wait for the entire sound clip to end. In the beginning, I don't. In these play sound meows, I don't. So this first one, if your computer's really slow, you might hear meow, right? You might hear a little tidbit of all 3 of them, or you might just hear nothing, or might just hear 1. Okay? And this might be really productive if what you want is to start the music playing and then draw or dance during that. You really want to start the music and move right on. But more frequently, students want to play a sound clip and then when that sound clip ends, play the next one. The other thing that will get students that I didn't put in here is the notes that you saw before, they play with a particular instrument. So students will say, set instrument to guitar. And then the next line will say, set instrument to tuba. And then next one, set instrument to violin. Set instrument to opera singer. And they're like, Colleen, I clicked on these and it didn't make any noise. And maybe you can kind of picture why that is. And I say, instructions, and I'll do what you say. Set instrument to guitar. Okay, set instrument to tuba. Right? And so I think that the model that Scratch really supports is that you're writing instructions for a particular actor or your sprite to be following. And so that role playing can help make it tangible, like, you told me to set my instrument to guitar. That's like picking up a guitar. That's not playing a guitar. Okay, so to get them to focus on, you know, what did my instruction really say to do? Computers do what you say, not what you want. So what did I really say to do? So this general idea of the until done reappears in those broadcasts that I'd said. So my message, right, is the thing we're working with. The example I did was broadcast my message and then wait. So this will say, my message! And then once the thing that heard me, the guy with the when I received my message hat, once he's done, then I get to go to my next line. Okay? This one at the top is really a disaster because here, what I functionally do is I say, my message, my message, my message! And in Scratch, funny things happen when you do this because a guy with the when I receive my message hat, he says, oh, I'm ready to go. And then he hears it again, and he says, oh, I'm ready to go. And then he hears it again, and he says, oh, I'm ready to go. So he might do a little bit of what his script says 3 times, and he might do all of it only once. Okay? Bad things happen there. So my rule of thumb with students is until they really have meaningful reasons to use the ones without and wait, or without until done, I encourage them not to use them. Okay, once you get to a position where you're like, oh, like I really need to not wait, then that's the time for that piece. Students are going to be moving the characters all around, and then the character will be facing this direction, and they want it to be facing to the right. And so what students will figure out they can do is this blue line right here in the Scratch user interface, they can drag it, and they drag it just so, and they watch what the direction is, and they'll drag it and drag it 91, no, 89, 90, and let go. It takes them forever to reposition the character so that he's facing to the right every time. And I think it's an opportunity to enforce one of the big ideas in computer science, which is, like, this could be a lot easier. We have this instruction, we could tell the character, face to the right. Okay, and so building this idea of, students get frustrated doing this too, like, oh, that's really frustrating having to turn him that way, right? And it's building in, like, the thrill of some of the automation and so that computer science can provide. You just throw one of these in your script and it will automatically turn to the right before you get started. So, remind students to use the blocks instead of avoiding, and avoid inefficient things in the user interface. Yeah?
Okay, so this reminds me of a problem because I didn't actually know about that blue line, and so I don't know if I'm like teaching too much because we use the blocks completely.
I think that's fabulous, but your students will find this blue line.
Okay.
They'll just find things. And I think the pointing out to them that the character will always tell you what its X and Y coordinate is, that's really cool. That's another way to kind of visualize the state of those variables. The fact that it always tells you the direction it's facing, that's awesome. They'll find those things. These are a little gotcha too. Very small little icons that will really mess up some programs. This top one means whichever direction this sprite is facing, it will look on the screen like it's facing that direction. Okay? This bottom one means no matter which direction I'm facing, always just point to the right. Always. Okay, great. So your students are like, I'm telling it to turn Y